Hello everyone and welcome back to the archive. Today we continue our tale on What If Gunnar won. In the last video, Hunter came to Gunnar to offer a proposition. So now we will see what the alien king has to say. Gunnar remained quiet for a moment to allow himself to process the situation. Then from across the room, a red glow began to emanate from the stranger's hand as the form of a being began to take shape. This creature was bulky and pristine, giving out an aura not so dissimilar to himself.
I am King Mirando, leader of the planet of Acaridia, and I can help you destroy both yours and my enemies.
You know who I'm fighting? Gunnar said.
I do, as these are the works of children who have escaped my custody.
Gunnar chuckled to himself.
Does something amuse you?
Mirando said.
Only that your efforts and mine are being thwarted by a mere child. How low. Now, what is it you want?
Gunnar said in a voice that resonated annoyance.
You yourself have observed, these children and the human forces have formed an alliance to thwart your movement. Perhaps we should do the same. And how might you help? Let's just say I have my own army to bring, and should you help me, the earth shall be yours to conquer. As with our forces together, the universe shall fear the name Gunnar.
And to that, the troll smiled. Mirando would reach out to Gunnar to form an alliance. Hunter had observed this troll king for months now, and realized he could use Gunnar to devote the Acaridians' attention away from his real goal. Should his ally prove true, he would allow Gunnar to rule this world. Should he betray him, then he will have the power to cleanse this world and start anew. Morgana, however, was suspicious of this stranger, and used her magic to spy on Mirando and his true intentions. On Acaridia, the rebellion on the planet would contact the Terrans on Mirando's situation, with his communication with a secret ally, as well as a build-up of his forces on a massive invasion of Earth. Similar to Cannon, Krell would use the parking drones to delay and take down Mirando's head ship, as he would have a larger array of resources and experienced pilots to operate the drones in effective battle formations to make this invasion a mock. Mirando instead used Infiltration as his ally, and swung a massive meteorite at the planet to distract the Alliance from discovering his entry to Earth, landing into the fortress of Arcadia. From here, the two kings would strategize with one another and coordinate their forces. Gunnar would be unimpressed with Mirando, as the king had promised a vast army to help conquer his enemies, not a small bodyguard of metal men. Mrondo assured Gunnar that despite these setbacks, everything was going right as planned. This uneased Gunnar, but with Morgana telling him of her own suspicions, she would leave it to her queen. This uneased Gunnar, but with Morgana telling him of her own suspicions, she would leave it to his queen to confirm what exactly Mrondo wanted. Tensions within the enemy camp grew, and if neither side had a solution to each other's problems, soon this alliance could be over before it even started. In the end, they would decide to commit a lightning attack on the alliance's base, to provide a distraction to allow Mrondo time to integrate with Aja and Krell's parents' memories to find the location of Galen's core, his true prize. On the Alliance's side, they had grown suspicious of Gunmar's actions, as the troll leader had gone quiet, with his forces mainly acting on their own impulses rather than coordinating might. The leaders would convene at Area 49B to discuss these recent events.
I don't like it. It's been weeks since they have gone on a full-on attack, and we have heard nothing about them attempting to do, well, anything.
Aja said.
I concur with the Queen in waiting. If our allies are planning something, it can only mean bad news. Perhaps this coincides with the rebellion's news too.
Days before, the rebellion reported complete silence on Mirando's part, as if he had vanished. But suddenly the sound of soldiers marching could be heard as they all rushed to see what the commotion was. And from the tree line, a massive green furry creature walked from the shadows. Behind it, there was a massive army of ironclad trolls, ready for war.
I am Arg, and we have come to help.
Arg had escaped during the slaughter to see the good trolls in retreat, and the corpses of his friends lining the streets. A wave of rage would wash over him before urging himself to run off and meet with the trolls. The next few months, Arg would fall into a great depression over his friends' deaths. Linky, Claire, and Toby were all gone, and Jim, a slave to Gunmar's will. He would become the de facto leader of the trolls in a way, keeping them in hiding against Jim and the Gum-Gums, who continued to chase them. His sadness, however, would harden into resolve, and ordered the trolls to light the fires and gather as much resources and prepare for war. Now he'd return to meet with the only power willing to fight Gunnar, and as if on cue, the lightning attack would commence, led by Jim and a contingent of Gum-Gum and Golem soldiers. Arg would show his allies the strength he and his soldiers could offer, slicing through the enemy lines like a hot knife through butter. In the commotion of battle, Aja would spot something horrifying. Mrondo, with his small bodyguard, ran unseen into the confines of the base. Aja noticed the direction he was going and grabbed Zadra and Krell to pursue and stop Mrondo before he got to her parents. The three would arrive too late, however. with Mother already breached by the time they got there, and Miranda already connected to the King and Queen. Unsure why Miranda hadn't killed them, they decided to chase after him and connected their minds to the memories of their parents. All over again like canon, the siblings would go from memory to memory, finding what Miranda was looking for before coming to the memory of their parents coming to Earth and meeting Kanjagar to hide Galen's core. Gunnar remained motionless on his throne, focusing his will on the battle through Jim's body. He had been right to keep Jim, as the boy had proven to be a useful weapon, far better than his previous host. His game would be interrupted by Morgana, who arrived to tell him what she had found.
My lady,
Gunnar said, bowing his head.
I have discovered our allies' true plot. A power laid dormant in the crust. A power so close to ourselves.
Morgana explained her discovery of Galen's core. She did not know the significance of this item, but what she did know was that it was something of great power, and the legends of a giant who could destroy a star. The two departed alongside Angor, who too survived and never had the redemption in the end that Jim gave him, as Jim had been turned to darkness. But he never forgot Gunnar's treatment of him, so he kept to himself mostly, refusing to help Gunnar or Morgana in either of their efforts. Morgana used her magic to track the location of the core and see it led to the bottom of the deep, a mysterious chasm that could summon your greatest fear. Unwavered, the three jumped down to find nothing at first, before darkness surrounded each one of them as they were transported into the deep recesses of their mind. Gunnar would witness the death of his son over and over again, a grim reminder of his failure at protecting his son. Morgana saw her brother push her away again and again, feeling the constant rejection that she had buried and the hatred she could feel coming from her brother. And Angor would see him shrivel away, seeing that his life amounted to nothing, a pawn forever in someone else's game. Gunnar would roar out in agony.
this isn't real.
He kept saying,
This isn't real.
in a defeated tone. Each would slash, tear, and shoot in all directions to try and break this curse, to no avail. Time seemed to pass by them like water in the wind. Aja and Krell would awaken in a panic, realizing that Miranda was after Galen's core. Zadra, knowing of the core's existence, would believe the children and run outside to finish the fight. This attack was only supposed to shock the defenders. Thus, the might of the Alliance and Trolls would beat this force back quite easily. Og would go single combat with Jim to save the rest of his soldiers from his blade. Jim was strong and athletic, but Og was stronger and far more experienced, and used his more battle-honed mind to lure Jim into a trap and capture him. Once the fight was over, the Alliance would chuck Jim in a cell to keep him from harming himself or anyone else. Ajay and Krell would then talk to Arg about what they saw. Recognizing the armor pattern on Jim resembled the warrior from the memory, and asked about a cannon jar?
You mean Kanjigar? I wouldn't know anything about a core of any kind.
Arg would think for a minute and realize if there was something Kanjigar knew, then he would know just where to find it. He explained that they must travel to Trollmarket. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know this wasn't really as action-packed or as big as the last one, but I promise you the next one is going to be even bigger. But until then, may the glory of Merlin be with you always.